Welcome to the Elevate the Vibe podcast, bringing you juicy convos with thought leaders discussing the wild world of parenting. Happy Wednesday, Vibe Hivers. We are back with another solo episode of the Elevate the Vibe podcast. This week, we are talking about the dreaded cold and flu season,
Dun, dun, dun.
which for 2020 and 2021 feels more like cold and flu year.
Right.
But regardless of what has transpired, today we want to talk about our little wellness hacks that we use to help prepare ourselves for cold and flu season. And if we feel something coming on as parents, what is our protocol in this situation?
Yeah, and these are some solid hacks. I started to feel a little under the weather the other day, and I was able to avert feeling fully awful by one of Mama's hacks here. And you don't want to miss these.
We're going to paint a little picture for you. Our son has started preschool, and this preschool, it's only 2 days a week, a few hours a day, but that is enough time for our child to pick up some wonderful preschool germs from other preschoolers. And there's only 8 kids in the class. And this week there's only 4 because we're assuming the other 4 are home sick. Hopefully not from our son. We apologize in advance.
Yeah, sorry about that.
If your child is sick from our child.
Or not sorry if it wasn't us.
I mean, he picked it up from somewhere, so someone had it before him. But anyway, we kind of got hit with 3 back-to-back sicknesses. One of them was an ear infection, so that's, not related to something at school. But it was just like a doozy of a month.
It's been a rough month.
With sickness. And we decided that we needed to re-up and think about how we protect ourselves as adults. And we can talk about with the kids too. But you know that as the caregiver, once you're down, it's like complete downhill. It's almost impossible.
I mean, when this all started with our sickness last month, you were down, Sammy was down, G was down. I was the last man standing, and it was a hard week. For sure.
And if you were not standing, I don't know what we would have done. We just asked our nanny to take care of all of us. And our nanny, let's just put this out there. Yeah. Thank you to our nanny, man. She was a trooper. She was like, it's okay. She's
hardcore. She didn't catch it. She's good.
So we want to go through our protocol of what we try to do to keep ourselves from getting sick. Now, this is a hot topic in general with COVID. In the past year, people talk a lot about, the vaccine is really a way to protect you, hopefully, from this sickness moving forward. But what do people do to better prepare themselves so they don't find themselves looking for quick fixes? And I'm not saying the vaccine is that, but I'm just saying in general, when it comes to health, is everybody very quick to reach for antibiotics or quick to reach for NyQuil, whatever it is? What can you do to better prepare yourself? Now, this isn't a spiel on health and wellness. We're getting down to like the brass tacks of some of our favorite products that we found that help us. So let's dive into this. Elderberry syrup. Now, there's elderberry syrup for kids that's sweetened. It's a little bit more sugary. I have tried it myself. It doesn't taste that bad. It tastes pretty good. But there's also elderberry syrup for adults. Elderberry syrup can be used even if you don't feel like you're getting sick. It's just a general wellness practice. However, I find that if I start to feel like a little something, I try to begin to take it.
Where does the elderberry come from? Is it its own species of berries?
It comes from the dingleberry.
Wow, that's why you're all up in it.
Give me spoonfuls. I am sure it's some sort of species.
Is it just like a super old blueberry that's like turned into wine? That this just like, it's the old ass berry right up in here. We're gonna syrup this bitch out and like cure some illness.
kind of
like the penicillin
a
of
prune
blueberries.
to a raisin situation.
Right.
I am unfamiliar with the genus of the elderberry.
I think it's genus, honey. We know what's on your mind, genus.
Okay, I'm uninformed.
I'm going to go get you that old ass berry real quick to perk you up.
I'm uninformed about the elderberry here. But let me just tell you, the brand that we like is Gaia brand.
I thought it was Sambucus.
That's the child version.
Oh, sorry. I'll shut up now.
The adult version, not as sweet. You got to keep it in the refrigerator. You just take a little bit. I think it's like a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, whatever. You just follow the directions. But that is a great hack. And what's positive about it is it can be used on children as well. Of course, talk to your pediatrician, but it does give directions on the box. You don't even have to buy the one that's specific for kids with all the sweeteners. You can just go like hardcore with it. Second favorite product, or maybe even first favorite product. It's from a brand called Boiron. I think that's how you pronounce it. Boiron. The actual product is called Cold Calm. Now, this is like the ultimate lifesaver. We think this is how Jason averted getting sick.
Yeah, we were out of town and everyone was recovering, and I started to feel a little bit, just a little hazy, a little bit of the congestion, just a tiny bit. And I was like, no. So I started popping those things. You can pop, it's like 2 at a time, like 4 times a day or something like that. And I started going after it. And I do think that it saved me from getting any worse, because I somehow managed to stay through all the sicknesses in our house. I managed to stay completely fine the entire time. And I feel like that one really, really saved it. And they're just 2 little tablets that you dissolve under your tongue, like super easy. They don't really taste like anything, and you can give them to your kids too. Maybe give them one, see how they do with it.
Well, read the directions.
Talk to your pediatrician, and all that stuff. We're not, But
I think what you're getting at is that because it's not an actual medication, it's just plant extracts, it is actually safe for children. But of course,
consult your pediatrician.
Yeah, there's a big disclaimer, a big cautionary flying flag over this entire episode. Consult your pediatrician.
Yeah.
A few other items that I really like, tools in our toolbox. Now, these are very specific to me, but I have found over the years that this helps. I will blast myself with green juice. Yes, they're expensive.
I think we have a super soaker, don't we?
We just fill up the super soaker. We take the super soaker to the juice bar.
Yep, fill it up.
And I'm like, fill that bish up.
Yeah, and I just cock that thing back like 4 or 5 times. Just give it that pump action and just spray all up and down and all that stuff.
So as much green juice as you can possibly handle, day in, day out. I mean, you don't want to make yourself sick, like nauseous, feel sick. But if you can get in like 1 or 2 a day plus fresh fruit, that is definitely a key.
Now, what greens are in this juice, Shog? Like kale, like spirulina, chlorella?
It's not so much the veggies that you include. It's just the variation and the consistency of having it, because you're really just blasting your body with nutrients. You're just giving yourself like a big nutrient
but
boost.
Not like celery.
It could be celery.
It could have celery.
It's just
in
fresh. It's just go for the fresh. Go for the fresh juice. I'm not talking about like green juice that you're gonna buy.
But not like lettuce.
Ralph's.
You don't want like a lettuce drink.
I love a good lettuce.
Yo, like hit me up with the iceberg.
I want the iceberg smoothie,
God,
please.
That sounds horrible. Oh,
I want the iceberg on ice.
Like puking inside my elderberries right now.
So, if you, as much green juice as you can tolerate, this works wonders for me. Now, this next tip is a little odd, but I have found it has worked. It is newly discovered for myself, and I haven't tested this long term. Some of these other ideas and tactics that we're talking about have been long term tested. There are these mini bell peppers, or these mini peppers that you can buy from Whole Foods. They come in a bag. They're a variety pack. They're a little bit sweet. they're yellow, they're orange, they're red. Now, I am no scientist. I am no Bill Nye. But there is something magical about these peppers. I will eat 3 of them a day. They have vitamin C through the roof. So that could be, that real deal vitamin C versus like an emergency.
I didn't know that. That's
pee
awesome.
it out. Yeah. So vitamin C through the roof. Vitamin C helps with cell repair. So if you're down and out.
Yeah, if your cell walls are feeling a little, tattered, boost up them cell walls.
Yeah, if they need like some shellac on them or whatever.
Shellac them up.
You gotta do your thing with your cell walls. These little peppers, man, there's something magical about them. They're also delicious. If you're not on the wave of, trying to fight off a cold, they're also delicious just with hummus. Just putting that out there if you want to buy them. I do not own stock in these peppers. I just think that they're very tasty.
I think it's time to hit up some Robin Hood and pick up some stock on that.
The next few items are a little bit more specific, but I want to dive into them. I am a big lover of acupuncture. Acupuncture is like my go-to. It's my thing. It's one of my favorite wellness activities in the world. If you can find yourself an acupuncturist and a good acupuncturist, if you start to feel like you're coming down with something and you go to your acupuncturist and you say, hey, acupuncturist, I'm starting to feel a little sinus pressure or a little something in my throat. I have had treatments where I have left and the next day, 100% better. Something magical happens. You transcend universes when you go to acupuncture. I don't know what it is, but man, it can really give you that boost. 2 more items that I want to add to this list is getting sunshine, vitamin D, not only good for your mood, which of course everybody needs a vitamin D boost, but we're basically like house plants that just need a little bit of sunlight. So give yourself that sunlight. Now, this last tip really depends on what your lifestyle is like. But for me, I find if I'm starting to feel slightly under the weather, if I work out and if I go hard, it kicks me into feeling like shit. There's also another side of this, whereas I'm starting to feel better and I'm on the upward trend. If I work out, it actually kicks me into feeling better more quickly. So you have to really know yourself with this one, but you can kind of toggle this. But I know if I'm feeling even like a little something and I try to push and do a workout, bad idea. Like I'm going to be down and out. And of course, there's always the tried and true, like drink your water, get your sleep, avoid preschool kids if possible,
right.
Or just like germ magnet petri dishes. But I would say this is our list. It's
a solid list, Chug.
Yeah, this is something that we hope that we don't have to pull out for the rest of the year. But if we do, we have our little arsenal. And Vibe Hive, if you have suggestions, if you have found certain products or processes that work for you, let us know on our most recent post. This is really important to us because I know first year preschool can be rough, and parents that have been through this, or anyone, even if you're not a parent, but if you're just around other people all the time and they're gross and you get sick.
Well, we haven't gone to the gym lately, Shug, so.
That's what I mean. Like if you're just around, like, I don't know.
Humans.
Yeah.
Festering humans.
Let us know. Let us know your tips and tricks and secrets. We love a good get well process. And with that, Vibe Hive, we thank you for rocking with us as usual. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Hey there, Vibe Hive babes. If this podcast has brought you any value, please rate and review on your favorite listening platform. And if you're feeling really generous, share with a friend. Visit us at elevatethevibe.co for show notes on this episode and previous episodes. This podcast is intended to educate, entertain, and inspire. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, or substitute for professional medical advice. Please consult your healthcare provider with any questions you may have. And as always, thank you for joining us to Elevate the Vibe.